We are live. Let's go.
Okay. Namaste. Welcome to Bharat Fort Plenum. Now, we are here to discuss an important book which is written by a young author named Diganta Chakraborty. Diganta Chakraborty has written a very important book called The Unsung Heroines of Bharat. We know that India has been invaded and ruled by foreign powers for over more than 1,000 years. But the colonial period is being put down to nearly 200 years or so. So generally, the media has it has a tendency to refer to the freedom movement, the so-called independence movement, to what people fought against the British rule. So that is called as a colonial rule. But of course, we had the Muslim invaders too, that is Islamic colonialism, if you ask me. So this freedom that we have been taught to is generally referred to. Our textbooks are filled more with Nehru and Gandhi as though they are the ones who brought us freedom. But of course, lately there has been change, at least in the other rather media. There's an effort to at least put forward Subhash Chandra Bose's contribution, then Sardar Patel's contribution. But still, we have a lot of lacking in the women, the Stree Shakti, as I call it, their contribution to the freedom movement. And there have been numerous women. And of course, the most famous one is Rani Lakshmi Bai. And we do know about Sarojini Naidu and then Bikaji Kama and Annie Besant too. But there are countless other women who have contributed to the freedom movement, just standing shoulder to shoulder with all the men. And their determination, grit, and sheer sacrifice for the cause of this shared civilizational entity called Bharat, because it is not just a piece of land. It is tradition, everything that comes with it. So we have with us Diganta ji, who is a writer, columnist, and he writes in various his articles. He's written over 200 articles, which is published in various newspaper languages. That is, he writes in English, Bengali, and other such publications. And his publications are generally, his articles are published in dailies or like Organizer, Hindu Post, and Samagya, Dainik Uttam, and Hindu Jana Sankha, and Ek Din Swastika of India, etc. So is a very, you can say, the youth which has come forward to rebuilding India to its own glory. So it's very good to see youths like Diganta ji coming and forward and getting his research to, build to enlighten people about so many heroines that we should know about and we should take inspiration from, rather than the feminist movement that we see now, which is very destructive. So, Diganta ji, please, few words, then we'll start with the question answer session about the book.
First of all, I want to thank and express my gratitude to the organizer for choosing my book, The Unsung Heroines of Bharat, for today's discussion. Firstly, I will tell why did I think about writing this book. Since independence, the government that has been in power in India has tried to show that India gained independence only for one man or one family. However, behind this freedom movement of India, many people sacrificed their lives. Today, as we dream of Vishwa Bharat, we need to understand We need to know their stories, their brave stories, who sacrificed their lives just for India's independence. There were many women also. In my book, The Unsung Heroines of Bharat, I try to unveil their remarkable journey, aiming to rectify this historical oversight and bring to light the brave revolutionary activities and sacrifice of these women. Their stories resonate as a reminder that the fight for freedom was a collective endeavor, while women were standing shoulder to shoulder with their male counterparts. In this book, I am trying to write the story of 50 unsung heroines of Bharat.
Um, that's it's a great uh, effort from your part. I would like to ask you, in Bharat has been subjugated by foreign powers over a long period of time. Why is it that we were not able to overthrow these foreign powers sooner?
Yeah, today as we discuss the role of women in Indian freedom struggle, it's a very necessary point why India was subjugated for a long period, though India was advanced from many other countries from the ancient times. Swami Vivekananda described India as a Punna Bhumi. He did not just say this from India. He said this in the year of 1897. We all know that from 1893 to 1897, after traveling for about 3.5 years in various countries, mostly in West, preaching Vedanta in various nations, he returned Bharat in 1897, and the date was January 15. Then he landed at Colombo. This time, Colombo was an integral part of Bharat, was a part of Akhanda Bharat. And after returning India, after 3.5 years, he delivered his first speech in Colombo on 16 January 1897. In his speech, he said, if there is any land on this earth that can lay claim to be the blessed Punna Bhumi, to be the land to which souls on this earth must come to account for karma, the land to which every soul that is wending its way Godward must come to attain his last home, the land where humanity has attained its highest towards gentleness, towards generosity, towards purity, towards calmness, above all, the land of introspections and of spirituality. It is India. It is very significant when Shamaji said this. He had visited different countries, mostly of the Western countries, through 3.5 years for a long time. And after visiting these countries, he found India to be the best. That's why he called our Bharat as Punya Bhumi. Now the question arises, why was such a glorious country like Bharat subjugated by foreign rulers for a long period? This topic, this point also Swamiji explained nicely. In his Swadesh Mantra, he said, despite being advancing almost everything, India was subjugated by foreign rulers for a long period because 6 reasons. Swamiji said that due to, among the 6 reasons, the first point he mentioned in his Swadesh Mantra, forget not that the ideal of the womanhood is Sita, Savitri, Damayanti. Swamiji clearly said that trampling on women was one of the main causes of India's subjugation. That is why he also said to make Sita, Savitri, Damayanti as ideal women of Bharat for resurgence from this bad situation. Now, question can arise why Swamiji mentioned Sita, Savitri, and Damayanti. It's very interesting. If we look at the character of Ma Sita, we'll find that Sita was the epitome of tolerance and patience. Savitri was a symbol of bravery. She saved her husband from death through her chastity. Damayanti was a symbol of humanity. She ignored even God and chose a common man as her husband. Samaji said, the ideal of womanhood in India is motherhood. that marvelous, unselfish mother. In another speech, he told, all nations have attained greatness by paying proper respect for women. That country and that nation which do not respect women have never become great, nor will ever in the future. Not only Shamiji, but also in our Sanatan scriptures, in our Sanatan text, there are also many quotes that tell us to respect women. In our Manusmriti, there is a sloka, Yatra Naryastu Pujjante Ramante Tatra Devata. That means, where women are honored, divinity blossoms there. In Taittiriya Upanishad, there also is a slok, Matri Deva Bhava, Pitri Deva Bhava, Acharya Deva Bhava. Although mother, father, and acharya are all placed in the position of God, it's noteworthy that their mother has been given the first place. If we
Sorry
look
to
at our society or family in India from ancient time, the center of all the things is the mother. Swamiji also once told his guru brother Vigyanananda that Matri Shakti is the center of all power. This method has been going on since our ancient times. As an example, if we can mention the ideal family of goddess Durga. In the family of goddess Durga, we see all the animals from smallest mouse to biggest elephant. All are there.
hello. Sorry to interrupt.
Again, food.
Hello.
Excuse,
Can I ask a question?
no, please, we'll come to the audience later in the last 10 minutes. Because the author wants to cover a lot of other portions through question and answer session. So I would be covering specific questions related to book. So
Okay.
we'll come to the audience questions in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, come back to the point. As I was telling, the structure of family of Ma Durga. In the family of Ma Durga, there are smallest mouse to the elephant are present in a family. Again, food consumer relationship animals are also together, but there is no conflict because they center their mother. There are small vines as well as large banyan trees. Goddess Durga's ideal family has everything need to run an ideal nations or an ideal family because they center Mother Durga. Another important thing is that all the possessors of Shatyaguna, Rajaguna, and Tamaguna are all together, but the center of it is Mother Durga. Asura, who was the quality of Tamas, is controlled by the lion, who was the quality of Rajas, and the lion, who has the quality of Rajas, is controlled by Ma Durga, who has the quality of Shatya. It indicates that when a nation or a family, their central power possessing Shatyaguna Matru Shakti as its roots, then everything will be on the right way.
Here I would like to ask you, the question, because today is the Punyatithi of Ma Sharada Devi, right?
Hmm. Today is the date
So
anniversary
her
of Ma Sharada.
contribution, how she
Hmm.
inspired the freedom movement, and
Hmm.
importantly, Rani Roshamoni, one shouldn't forget her pivotal role there because once she constructed the Dakshina Kali Mandir there, and then even she had an effect on Sri Ramakrishna. And she played a very important, she was a social worker, but then she played a very important role in resisting the colonial powers. So, and she inspired many people too. So, your views on that?
Yeah. Today is the date anniversary of Prima Sarada. So it's very important to discuss about her role in Indian freedom struggle. Prima Sarada Devi and freedom struggle. Firstly, I will tell that she herself never fought with a gun, but she was the inspiration of those brave revolutionaries of this freedom movement who led this movement in front. She was the mother of all brave revolutionaries like Sri Aravinda to Bagha Jatin. Sister Nivedita wrote, all great nationalists used to touch her feet. Swami Sharadananda would not turn anyone away. Thakur Sri Sri Ramakrishna's predictions came true. Once he said, "You will see later, so many boys will call you mother, you will become a burden to handle." Sister Nivedita witnessed the fulfillment of this prophecy in 99, especially after the verdict of the Alipur bomb case. There were a lot of revolutionaries who took shelter at Bagbazar Mayarbadi. Everyone wanted the mother's blessings. Then Nivedita said to Saradamoni, "Mother, Thakur once said that the time will come when a lot of boys will call you mother. It seems that time is very near. The whole of India is now your son." Sister Nivedita wrote, "All great nationalists used to touch her feet. Swami Swaradananda never turned anyone away, even though he knew it was going to be very risky work." In a letter written to Oli Bull on July 22, 1909, Nivedita wrote, "I long to go Math, and all parties are now united to say that a new spirit comes from Ramakrishna and Vivekananda. And the men who gave up released come to make pranams to Holy Mother." She says, "What fearless! Only Ramakrishna and Swamiji could have brought about the fearlessness. All their fault." The most authentic evidence of the deep influence of Swami Vivekananda and Ramakrishna and Srima Sharada in the Indian freedom struggle is the report by Citizen Commission. It is a very vital report given by Citizen Commission in 1918. In this report, they wrote, "In 1886, the Bengali ascetic Ramakrishna has died. He was undoubtedly a remarkable and purely religious man. He strongly defended Hinduism, but taught that all religions were true, that all deities were manifestations of impersonal supreme, and that Brahmin disdained the low caste was wrong. To him, the goddess Kali was the goddess of divine strength, although another of her attributes is destruction. She was his mother and the mother of the universe. If he worshipped through idols, it was because he believed that their idols were filled with the presence of divinity. He taught social service as the service of humanity." He died in 1886, and after his death, his doctrines were praised by some of his disciples, the chief of whom was Narendranath Datta, a young Bhadralok BA, subsequently famous as Swami Vivekananda. Narendranath Datta became a ascetic and attended the Parliament of Religious in Chicago as a representative of Hinduism. There he made a great impression and founded the Vedanta societies for spreading the teaching of Hindu scriptures like Vedas. It returned to India in 1897 with a small band of followers and was acclaimed by many educated Hindus as a savior and prophet of their faith. He organized centers of philanthropic and religious effort under the supervision of a Ramakrishna mission, and carrying much further the teaching of his master, preached that Vedantism was the future religion of the world. And although India was now subject to foreign power, she must still be careful to preserve the faith of mankind. Citizen Commissions also wrote, "Vivekananda died in 1902, but his writing and teaching survived him, have been popularized by Ramakrishna Mission, and have deeply impressed many educated Hindus. From much evidence before us, it is apparent that his influence was perverted by Varinder and followers in order to create an atmosphere suitable for his execution of their project. That is how British government feared by Vivekananda. They wrote that Vivekananda became more powerful after he died." Now, that is a vital point. Why did revolutionary rush to Saradamoni? To answer these questions, the revolutionary Hemachandra Ghosh wrote, "In that quiet, silent life lies the seed of super revolution. Ramakrishna, Srima Sharada, and Vivekananda, this trio symbolize a great revolution." Swamiji's childhood friend and nationalist monk Brahmabandhu Upadhyay wrote in the Swaraj newspaper about Srima Sharada Devi. He wrote, "If your destiny is good, one day go and sit at the feet of Ramakrishna Chit Lakshmi. Take Ramakrishna Shoshishuddha by being blessed with his Prasad Kaumudi. All your thirst will be quenched." After the partition of Bengal in 1905, many joined in Ramakrishna missions who had closely associated with revolutionary movement, like Swami Pragyananda. who was earlier known as Devabrata Basu, Samyatri Prakashanando, who was earlier known as Priyonath Dasgupta. So many revolutionary who did the revolutionary movements in front of uh, on December 11, 1916. For that reason, the governor of Bengal this time, Lord Carmichael, in his court speech said and criticized Ramakrishna Mission. He said, the terrorist youth in the country are supported by Ramakrishna Mission and Srimad Sharada Devi. It is not clear whether Sushima support the armed revolution fully or not, even though many prominent leaders of Anushilan Chamiti took shelter at her feet and had special affections for leaders of the armed revolution, like Bhagajyoti. Sometimes it seems that she is a favor of armed revolution. Thus, Jatindranath Mukhopadhyay has been blessed with life. Mother did not meet anyone outside directly. She spoke through others. But in the case of revolutionary Bagha Jatin, and sometimes that rule has been relaxed. Panchanan Chakraborty was a close associate of Bagha Jatin. In his writing, he wrote that while traveling from Bagnan by train in 1915, Mahanayak Bagha Jatin heard that Srimad Sharada Devi was going somewhere on that train. He disregarded all the dangers and fled to his mother to seek her blessing. Jatindranath and Ma Sharoda had a private conversation with him in the same compartment. Later, when the mother was asked what happened, her brief reply was, I saw a fire. That was the freedom fighters' last meetup with Ma Sharoda. Then Bagha Jatin was going to engage in armed revolution. Even though there was a threat of death, Ma Sharoda did not stop her child. In the same year, Bagha Jatin died in a gun battle with the British forces at Baleshwar. When the great revolutionary Sri Aurobindo was imprisoned, his wife, Mrinalini Devi, went to Ma Sharada at Bagbazar Mott. Mother said, my son is divine. He is son of Thakur. No one can stop him. Sri Aurobindo was released within a few days, and her words were proven true. After that, he came out the jail and went to Bagbazar to meet Ma Sharada Devi. We all know more or less what happened next, from revolutionary Aurobindo to Rishi Aurobindo, the transformation. Sharada Devi's deep and high affections of the people involved in India's freedom struggle can be better understood by giving another example. The British police sent in search of three freedom fighters of Jugantar Dal, named Amarendranath Chattopadhyay, Kunal Chakraborty, and Bhupendra Kumar Datta. The Calcutta police learned from secret sources that the revolutionary was hiding in the railway quarters of Tiljola, where railway cabin worker Deven Ghosh and his wife lived. That was the year of 1917. When the police finally reached that house, all three fled again. The police arrested Deven Ghosh. His wife is also killed, but she is not that time in Kolkata. She went to Indus in Bakura. The name of the village is Youth Bihar. News was sent to the Bakura police that this woman should be arrested. Superintendent of Police Bholanath Chattopadhyay went on a raid with a large force to arrest her. The problem is there is not just one, there are two named Chindubala Devi in the same village. One is Deven Babu's wife and the other is his sister. Who will be arrested? No one is opening their mouth. So both were arrested. One from Sabajpur and other from Yudh Bihar. Not just arrest, despite having a jeep with them, the two women were brought to the police stations on foot and then imprisoned in Bakura jail. The whole incident spread quickly because Sindhubala Devi was still pregnant. She came to her father's house to give birth of his baby. There was a huge protest against bringing those two women working in such a situation. When this news spread to the people and reached to the Jairam Bati as well to the Ma Saroda, he was instantly angered after hearing about such an incident. She said, it is the local order or the company order. Her own body is not very well that time. Despite this, she is able to bear these oppressions. She also said, if this is the order of company, then not much more. After some time, when the news came again that women were freed, Sarada Devi was relieved. She claimed down and said, "If I had not received their news, I would not have been able to sleep today." There was a village named Kualpara near Jairambati. It was a trusted shelter for many revolutionaries. She referred to the revolutionaries as the children of gods who lived at at the ashram of Kualpara. Such was the love and affection of Sima Sharoda for the revolutionary who directly involved in the freedom struggle of Bharat.
Um, Now there were plenty of women revolutionaries. In fact, we all know that Khudiram Bose was the youngest revolutionary to have got the death penalty at 18 years age. His story is simply inspiring. How in a courtroom he talked about how bombs should be made. I mean, we know his story very well. And but I just came across your book where I found Shanti Ghosh, youngest 16-year-old woman, revolutionary, who was given the death penalty. So there are many such revolutionary women, from Preeti Lata Vadedar, and Kalpana Datta, and of course, we all know Rani Lakshmi Bai and Jhalkari's story, and Sarla Devi, and then of course about Saraswati Rajamani too, who was the first spy of the Indian National Army, died. So can you please tell us more about these stories of women revolutionaries who gave up their lives, who were gritty and made supreme sacrifice for the nation?
Yeah, there are a lot of women revolutionaries also whose supreme sacrifice for the freedom of Bharat, just like Pritilata Vadekar. We all know the incident of Pahartol European Club attack that was led by Pritilata Vadekar. Pritilata Vadekar, at the time, she was just 21 years age. The bravery shown by Pritilata in attacking the European club is memorable to us. The Pahartol European Club in Chattogram was a symbol of colonialism, which portrayed and glorified British over Indians. The club had a sign and glorified. The club has a sign on the door where wrote, "No dogs or Indians allowed." This was immensely insulting for the revolutionaries and also for the Bharatiyas. Revolutionaries, including Pritilata Vadedar, were tasked with conducting a raid and destroying the club on September 23, 1932. She was the leader of this 8 people group. Apart from her, remaining 7 members was there. One of them was Kalpana Datta. The revolutionary led says to the club at 10:45 p.m. Set fire on this club. During the raid, 1 woman was killed, while 4 other men was injured. As a rule in a military formation, the leader will be the first to attack and the leader will be the last to return. Allowing the other revolutionaries to move to safety on the way back, Pritilata followed this rule properly. After the operation was successful, she signaled the members to go back by blowing a whistle. After ensuring the safety of other teammates, Pritilata chose to commit suicide by eating a potassium cyanide. Her martyrdom at the tender age of just 21 waves of inspirations for women revolutionaries in Bengal. Kalpana Datta recounted in her book how Surjaseni was against the idea of hanging potassium cyanide capsules to Pritilata Vadekar. Master Datta said, "I don't believe in suicide, but she forced potassium cyanide out of me when she came to buy the last farewell. She was so eager and argued so well about its need in case of this trap. I could not hold out. I gave it to her," Master Datta narrated. This participation of Pritilata Vadekar and her eventual martyrdom therefore became crucial as the armed revolution was largely a men's affair. On the day before martyrdom, Pritilata, in a letter to her mother, wrote, "Oh mother, don't cry out in that way. See, I am going to die for the sake of truth, for the sake of freedom. Don't you find joy in it? What else can I do? The country is in bondage. The people of our country are tormented due to foreign oppression. Our motherland is insulted, humiliated, bent down under the weight of shackles. Will you bear all this in silence? Cannot you sacrifice one of your daughters for freedom? Will you shed tears only? I have got something to say to my countrymen. Many of them may think how it is that an Indian woman, throwing all her indigenous education and culture to the wind, can involve in the gruesome act like homicide. I cannot but wonder how discriminations between men and women could be made in the struggle for freedom. When men and women work side by side in civil disobedience movement, then why women will not be allowed to work together with men in the revolutionary movements? It due to the fact the process is different or the women are unfit. It is nothing new for the women taking up arms. In all countries where revolutions are successful, they are the women joined by hundreds. Why shall it be so desirable in India alone? If ability is the earthstick of judgment, it is not unjustified to always consider the women as less able than men in freedom struggle. Time has come to get rid of this false notion. I believe our sister will forsake this weakness and join the revolutionary organization for thousands. Just like Pritilata, there was also an woman named Shanti Ghosh, who was just 16 years old when he assassinated a British officer. It was the time of 1930. The British atrocities against the people of Kumilla centered on the disobedience movement, ignited by fire of the revolution in the minds of teenagers and youth. Young girls like Shuniti, Shanti, and Prapunnanalini Brahma also had the desire to deal to serve for nation. They become desperate to do an extreme revolution. In this time, finally, the long-awaited date arrived. On the December 14, 1931, the party leaders made the decision to shoot and kill the district magistrate, Mr. Stephen. Shanti Ghosh and Shuniti Chaudhuri were entrusted with this responsibility. One was 15 years old and another was 16. The two girls were got ready and appeared in the horse-drawn cart and the magistrate's bungalow with an application form of swimming pool. While he was reviewing this request, both young girls took out automatic pistols from underneath their stalls and shot Stevens. The magistrate fell to the ground. The chaprasi and a group of girls came running, kicked, slapped, humiliated these two girls. The police also arrived. Suniti and Shanti's hands were tied behind their backs. Finally, a DIB inspector arrived and rescued them. Both were taken to separate locations. Cross-examinations were conducted separately, but the police could not extract any secret from these two minor girls. That was their spirit. The girls were taken into custody and imprisoned in the local British jail. In February 1932, Ghosh and Chaudhuri appeared in the court in Kolkata and were sentenced in transformation for life.
Then, of course, we had Jalkari Bari's story that is quite that needs to be told also. So that and
Yeah,
Sarla Devi's story and so many other
Sister
women.
Nivedita.
Please do.
Hmm. Yeah. So, so if we know about Rani Lakshmi Bai, but the story of Jhalkari Bai remain unsung. Jhalkari Bai was born into a Dalit family in Jhansi on November 22, 1830. She was her parents' only child. Jhalkari Bai's mother died during her childhood. Being from a poor Dalit family, Jhalkari Bai could not receive a school education, but she learned weapon handling and horseback riding during her childhood. It is said that once she was in child, Jhalkari was attacked by a leopard. Jhalkari killed the leopard with an axe without any fear. Seeing her courage, she was married to a young man named Puran Singh, who was a soldier in Jhansi army. The entire village extended full support to Jalkaribai's marriage. It is said that once, on the occasion of Gauri Puja, Jalkari, along with other women of the village, went to the fort of Jhansi. During that time, the eyes of Rani Lakshmibai fell on her for the first time. Then Rani Lakshmibai included her in their troops. There she learned how to use guns, swords, and cannons. She also learned the position of Rani Lakshmibai's women's army, called the Durgadal, and often made important decisions on behalf of the queen. But the most important she did, then Jhansi Rani Lakshmibai, when she was in actions, Jalkaribai's husband Puran Singh was martyred while protecting the fort. However, Jalkaribai did not mourn her husband's death. Instead, she fought with the British. The British did not even realize that she was not the queen of Jhansi. She was Jalkaribai. Jalkari also reached General Rose's camp. During this time, the Rani of Jhansi took the opportunity and went away from there. Jalkari knew that whenever she was going, she would not nothing escape death, but to protect her motherland, to protect Bharat Mata. Jalkaribai did not even care about her life. Just like Jalkaribai, there is a woman named Sister Nivedita. People think that Nivedita was a woman from born in another country, but her contributions for India is more than many women in Bharat. We saw sacrifice of many revolutionaries in freedom struggle of Bharat. Many men and women participate in the freedom struggle without thinking about their lives. But Sister Nivedita made an unforgettable contribution to the history of Indian freedom struggle despite not being a Bharatiya. Sister Nivedita's real name was Margaret Elizabeth Nobel when she was born. But she met with Vivekananda in the year of 1895. A phenomenon happened that changed the direction of her life. Throughout her fame, she met the Bharatiya Yogi Vivekananda. She was electrified by Swamiji's teaching, by Swamiji's speech. Swami Vivekananda wrote to Margaret, "Let me tell you frankly that I am now convinced that you have a great future in the work for India." And then that was the year of 1898 when Nivedita came to Bharat. Nivedita understood that if the mother and sister of the house were not educated, the society would not move forward. So, in the face of various adversities, she built a school for girls in her own residence. On the one hand, respect for the ideals of ancient Bharat, and other hand, the adoptions of modern thinking. Both of them formed her ideology of education. Sister Nivedita always tried to educate her students with the nationalist spirit. Swamiji's death in 92 was a shocking incident for all the nation. After Swamiji's demise, Nivedita became involved in direct revolutionary movement in Indian freedom struggle. They promoted and propagated the special spirit of Swadeshi independence in Bengal. Nivedita had the direct contact with freedom fighters like Sri Aurobindo, Barin Ghosh. She jumped in to inspire the revolutionary committed to breaking the chains of Bharat Mata. Sister Nivedita had close connections with Gupta Samiti called Anuchilan Samiti, Juganta Dal, etc. She held the revolutionaries in every possible way. That's why Dr. Nimai Shadan Basu says that Aravinda's Bhabani Mandir was influenced by Nivedita's book.
We can't hear you. Diganta ji,
Yeah.
we are not able to hear. Yeah. Now we.
Now audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aravinda's Bhabani Mandir played a special role in driving the anti-British movement toward the revolutionary movements. Renowned historian Ramesh Chandra Majumdar has said about Nivedita in his book, History of Freedom Movement Part 1, that Satish Chandra Bose, the founder of Anushilhan Samiti, received instruction from Nivedita. Sister Nivedita was one of the members of First Revolutionary Council. Eminent Shamaji Gavasher, SP Basu goes to the extent of calling the period from August 92 to July 95 in Indian politics as Nivedita era. Why? As according to him, during this period, she played the most important role in influencing the growth of nationalist consciousness. establishing the connection with different revolutionaries throughout India and revolutionary groups and touring the country giving lecture with the aim of recruiting the youth volunteers for secret societies and asking for patronage from princely states. Sister Nivedita shaped many revolutionary multiple times. For example, Ramanando, the editor of Modern Review, was alerted by Nivedita when she learned about his possible arrest. Nivedita was in touch with extremist leaders like Lala Rajpat Rai. I will never forget what I heard from him, Nivedita wrote in in her letter. She had a deep hatred for British rule and a strong love for Indians. Sister Nivedita personally idealized extremist and revolutionary ideals, but she never turned down the help of moderates also. Her role aimed was India's independence, who worked for Indian independence, whether with extremists or moderates, moved forward with their cooperation without any hesitations. They understood that if the people of Bharat unitedly protest against the British, then Bharat would get freedom very soon. Nivedita was friendly with moderate leaders like Gokhale, Upendranath Bose, Ananda Mohan Bose, and others. Due to these activities of Nivedita, the British government began to monitor her with intelligence. Even various pieces of evidence suggest that there was a possibility of her arrest and long imprisonment. Nivedita disguised herself several times to avoid arrest of British police. Even this time, she had plans to seek refuge in the French-occupied parts of the earth. In 1905, Lord Curzon announced the partition of Bengal. As a result, the whole of Bengal became agitated. Curzon had addressed a university convocation. He said in a speech that Indians are liars. Mr. Nivedita was also present, along with a few Indian friends. Hearing this, her face turned red and anger and shame. Nivedita went out and went to a library with Sri Sir Gurudas Bandyopadhyay and took a book to show Curzon was a liar he is. The next day, in the Statesman, Nivedita wrote that Curzon had been decreasing his age when he was ambassador to Korea. They
Diganta
proved the
ji,
truthfulness of Indians by quoting the Ramayana and Mahabharata, which to India's leader would not do at the time.
Diganta ji, you very well put the role of Nivedita, Assistant Nivedita, in inspiring revolutionaries. We have had several women literally putting their lives on the line. Like I just said, Saraswati Rajamani was a very young girl who volunteered to be a spy for the INA and paid with her life for it. And what if such a, because Bengal today, I would like to ask you, Bengal today is now facing a very critical situation. What if such a situation occurs again? How many young people would be ready to put their lives on the line for the nation, for the country, for what we stand as a civilization, both men and women? So, what's your view on that?
Actually, the education system which is going on after the independence, how Meghale was started at the time of 1835, still going on. We know Swamiji told, I need 100 youth boys. But this time, our education system proved that the more of the youths are think about not man-making education, but also just only career building. So for this time, it's very necessary to read about the Bharat, to read Swamiji, to read the contribution of Sharada Devi, to read the contribution of Bhagini Nivedita, to read these unsung heroines, to inspire from their life stories, how they contributed themselves for the work of Bharat Mata. If we get inspired from them, then we will able to work for our country more and more. That's my view.
Uh, yeah, you're very right that we need to know about our heroines so that we get
Yeah,
inspiration
we
from
need to
them.
know about our history, how they was brave,
Yeah,
how they work.
yes, that's true. And now we are literally staring at the real problem. For example, we have Sandesh Khadi, where women were literally picked up and abused physically, sexually. So it's time that women stand up and get into the revolutionary mode. So, do you see
Absolutely.
such a future in Bengal? Especially, I feel that Bengal heralds a new age of revolutionary ideas. It's always been so. It is so. Would Bengal do it again?
Yeah, of course. We need to know our history first. Then we will inspire and will able to do work according to our history. How
Yeah,
our men and women contributed themselves. We first need to
yeah,
know this.
yeah. Of course. Like for that, even the present these stories should be in our school textbooks. We're still waiting for
Yeah.
them to be reviewed. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't see them at all because you've written a wonderful book. It is very good. But then I would like them to be part of the curriculum where people at least read and write, are able to write essays on these heroines. And what we see is the role of mothers and sisters behind these revolutionaries who made them the revolutionaries. So, can you please tell about that? The inspiring women, because that's necessary even today. We need to, the
Hmm.
mothers and sisters, not only would they be revolutionaries themselves, they also inspire the
But they
men in the
indirectly
house.
involve in these freedom movements. Yeah,
Yeah,
actually. So ordinary women of the house also participate in this freedom movement in India. Among themselves, Tukriwala Devi, Nanibala Devi, Bachanti Devi, Molmoti was one of the prominent. Tukriwala Devi was the nephew. Nibaran Ghatak was a member of Revolutionary Party. Masima, that means the mother's sister, loved Nibaran Ghatak very much. That's why he often brought friends to the house of Tukriwala Devi. This house was a place to hide indigenous books and illegal books related to freedom movements. But one day, Digriwala Devi, in a state of doubt, looked at those books and confronted Nibaran. But Nibaran was not disturbed or frightened. Gradually, one day, Professor Jyotish Ghosh came to the house dressed as a teacher. Then Bipin Ganguly came up with the name of Brahmin Babu, dressed as an employee of Rajbari. Seeing their confidence and courage, Digriwala Devi was impressed, surprised. Then gradually, she developed sympathy and respect for them. Slowly, a change appeared in her mind. This time, she was deeply influenced by the thought, the concept by their nephew Nibaran Ghatak and other revolutionaries. There was a heated argument between them over the marriage of Nibaran. The condition was that whoever lost the argument would take the path of winner. Mashima Dugriwala lost the argument, but she requested Nibaran to take her with them into the revolutionary group. During this time, Dugriwala Devi observed their sons from very close quarters and inspired to do something for motherland Bharat. But Nivaran Chandra was reluctant to include his beloved Mashima in his group's underground activities. Then Dugliwala roared like a lioness and said, if you boys can die for the country, so can we mothers? One day, nephew Nivaran brought 7 Mauser pistols and led Mashima Dugliwala Devi to hide these. These were those goods which were stolen from Rhoda Company. The story of this is also quite amazing. On August 16, 1914, the arms shipment from the Rhoda Company was unloaded from the work. Haridas Tattva, a disguised revolutionary, disappeared with a one bullock cart and went to the warehouse after loading 202 boxes of uh, pistols. Bipin Bihari Ganguly and Bagajoti are behind this theft of weapons. There were 9 boxes of cartouches and one box of 50 Mauser pistols in the stolen car. From there, nephew Nibaran Ghatak gave 7 pistols to Dugriwala Devi to hide. But on January 7, 1970, the police forces surrounded her house and demanded that she let them search it. After searching her house, 7 Mauser pistol was recovered by the British police. Despite many atrocities, Dugriwala could not reveal the name of the persons who gave the Mauser pistols. Just like Dugriwala Devi, there was another woman named Nanibala Devi, who was the further sister of revolutionary Amarendranath Chakraborty. After receiving the primary education at home, Nanibala got married at the age of just 11, as per custom of that time. But unfortunately, when she was just 16, her husband died. Amarendra Datta established a center called Sramajibi Samabai to meet the underground revolutionary at various places. But upon receiving information, the police launched a search operation and Amarendranath was forced to flee. Due to his sudden arrest, he could not disclose the location of the Mauser pistol. While everyone was busy trying to extract information about the pistol from Amarendranath, Nanibala Devi came forward. She disguised herself as a Ramchandra's wife, a political prisoner of that time, and went to Alipur jail to gather information about pistol hiding place. At that time, widow had to live under strict rules. It is needless to say how courageous Naniwala was to go to jail and collect information while evading a police station. Then she rented a house in Chandannagar as a safe haven for the fugitive revolutionaries. Revolutionaries like Jadugopal Mukherjee, Atul Ghosh, and Vijay Chakraborty used the house as a hiding place for their escape. Finally, as she did not feel safe staying in Chandannagar, she went to Peshawar. However, upon discovering the whereabouts, the police also raided there and arrested Maniwala, who was suffering from cholera. After being held in custody for a few days, they went to Kashi jail. Once Nanibala recovered, the police began their interrogations. The British police subjected her to torture. Despite the inhuman treatment, the British police could not extract any information from her. As a result, the British government punished her severely. Despite enduring immense pain, she did not utter a single word about the secret activities of the revolutionaries. Subsequently, she was confined to an enclosed cell and only one door for light and wind to enter. She was kept there for half an hour every day, and on the last day, she was detained for 45 minutes. Unable to bear this physical pain, Nanibala Devi became unconscious that day. Yet she did not utter a single word about this revolutionary. The Kashi police finally gave up and sent her to Kolkata presidency jail. Upon arriving here, Nanibala stopped eating at a protest against police brutality. Despite hundreds of requests from jail authorities and district magistrates, they did not break her fast. Then came an IB superintendent of police, Mr. Golji. Gold interrogated her every day. One day he asked, "What you do to start eating and drinking?" Nanibala told him that she would start eating and drinking if she was allowed to stay with Sri Ramakrishna Dev's wife, Srimati Charuda Devi, in Bagbajar. Gold then asked her to write a petition about it. But as soon as Nanibala wrote the application and gave to him, he tore it up and threw in the waste paper basket. Angry Nanibala slapped Goldie and asked why he was asked to write if he was going to turn up it. He actually wanted to make it clear that the people of our country also have self-respect. Like that, Bashanti Devi was also a prominent figure, was also a wife of Chittaranjan Das. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bosu, we used to call her mother, Prabhavati Devi, mother of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, right? I gave birth to Subhash, but you are his real mother. We all know how Chittaranjan Das fought the legal cases of many revolutionaries without any charges. Despite belonging to a wealthy family, Bashanti Devi accepted their financial difficulties for national interest. It can be said that Bashanti Devi also made an important contribution to the free legal advice given by Chittaranjan Das for a long time.
Uh,
This is
I think we can take some audience questions. There was some person here. Anybody wants to ask any question? Or, okay. It doesn't look like, I mean, somebody was there. It doesn't look like we have any questions from the audience. I would just like to point out one small thing before we wind up. One, about the present situation facing us. Like one, we need to know our history. Secondly, we can at least train in self-defense. Train all men and women. Women, especially men, have to, of course. Women also have to train in self-defense. So it can go as fitness club or whatever it is, right? So that becomes a first level to face such problems. For example, the Sandesh Khali incident would have been much better tackled because you know what the enemy is. You don't need to keep falling to it again and again. We have been saying it for the past 1,000 years. So one is self-defense. So that is very important. I think I should I should say here. And then that would lead to some kind of a organized movement too, sometime, hopefully. So there's one thing that Diganta ji, I found that is missing in your book about mentioning Rani Abakka Chauta. She was in the late 16th century. I would say she's the first person who fought against the European Christian invaders, that is the Portuguese, and she won too. Of course, the first she won 2 wars, and then she was later betrayed by her own husband. And mind you, she was a giant, right? She was a giant queen. It's not that people say giants don't fight, but she fought very valorously. She was a very capable woman, and she was the queen from coastal Karnataka area, Ulva, that's called Ulva, and that is the Tulu people. So that is something that I felt, because she started the whole thing. I mean, this late 16th
Yeah,
century. It's
yeah.
a very inspiring story. Please do.
It's very true that in my book, I just only able to mention just 50 unsung heroines, but
Yeah,
there
I
are a
know.
lot of,
Yeah,
but there are many who still unknown.
yeah. Of
I
course, there are
I just able
many
to mention just
unknown.
50.
I
Yeah,
agree with you. There are many
there are
unknown women.
thousands of heroines who contributed
Yeah.
themselves.
And I would like to wrap up by asking you one last question. How do we inspire our younger generation and the youth towards nationalism and towards our civilizational heritage, to take pride in it? Because only if you take pride in it would you then want to defend something which is being attacked to. So how do we address this problem? Then, of course, the next level comes, how do you defend it? You can't always, ahimsa doesn't work. So
Yeah,
answer.
to answer these questions, I used a quote given by Rabindranath Tagore. When one asked him to know about India, how we will know about India? Then Rabindranath Tagore answered, if you want to know India, study Vivekananda. I also want to say to get nationalism spirit. First, I think we all have to read Shamaji's letters, mainly Shamaji's letters, and all the parts, all the books, all the total parts of Swami Vivekananda's writing. It's very basic. And there are many writings by many revolutionaries like Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Kalpana Datta. If we read these books, we will get a spirit, how they were energetic, how they were thinking was this time to work for India. So if we want to work for our country, if we want to contribute it for our nations, we must have to learn themselves. We must have to learn their spirit.
Absolutely, I agree with you, but there is no if we I mean, there is no choice. That's what I would say, because we are literally staring at a problem. The problem has come, it's just knocking the door, because I sit in Delhi, I know how it is like. I mean, Kashmir is just a few kilometers. Jammu
Yeah.
is now facing the heat.
Hmm.
So you live in Bengal, you would be knowing better. Half the districts are now Hindu demography is falling. And then you have jihadi terrorism there knocking at your doors. Not only that, the ultra left Naxalism problem. So it's no longer a choice, it is rather a necessity. So with this,
Really.
I would like to, we had a very nice session, and I hope the readers, I mean, I hope that this book is the Unsung Heroines of Bharat at least finds its way in local libraries, because it's important that it reaches all, not just people who can afford to buy it. So we had a very nice session. Thank you very much, Diganta ji.
Thank you.
And
You
with
too.
this, wrap up this session of our book review on the Unsung Heroines of Bharat. And we hope that we take inspiration from these heroines and we move towards a real freedom for Bharat. That's what I would say. Bharat is not yet free.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually.
Yeah.
Namaskar.